Okay, well, I need rear brakes. The pads are getting very low, but I don't have any grooves on my disc. So I'm going to go ahead and just replace the pads, okay, without turning the rotors. All right, so I picked these up. You can pick up the disc brakes for your Cadillac or whatever vehicle, but this one, they ranged anywhere from, I believe it was $40 to $100. I think I paid $75 for these. I bought them a little while ago because I knew I was going to need to do my brakes soon. All right, so get a wheel chuck. I'm going to use my impact, your star. You know, being this is just an electrical impact, it's not as strong as the air ones. I may have to break them loose with the star first. Get your kit out, your ratchet set, so you have everything ready to go, and a jack. You can use the regular jack that comes with the vehicle, but I have this one, so I'm going to use it. It makes life a whole lot easier. All right, now take your wheel chuck, okay, put it in front of your front wheel. All right, that'll keep her from rolling down when you jack it up. Okay, let's get started. Okay, before I do anything, I get my jack in the proper place. So I'm only going to jack up one side of the vehicle at a time. Turn. I don't like that. It's too close to the end, and I can't get close enough to I'm too close to the tire. Okay. If you're going to use your regular jack, which is fine, use the instructions that tell you where to jack up the vehicle from, and you'll be fine. All right, now that I have it just tight, I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the lug nuts before I jack it all the way up. Pop off your center cap. I'm going to see if this is strong enough. No. They won't move. Okay, so use your star and just break it enough, just loosen it. You'll hear it click, and then your impact gun will take it off. Unless you have an air one, then that'll work with no problem. Okay, I gave each one a quarter turn. Now I'll jack it up the rest of the way, get the tire off the ground, and then I'm gonna use my impact to pull all the nuts off. Okay. Make sure your tire's all the way off the ground and take the lug nuts off. All right, now you can use your battery impact. Okay. Okay. You can see I had very little left. They look like scratches, but I don't feel anything. So I think I caught it just in time that I can just change the pads. All right. Now we're gonna have to break this lug. And then the one down here. But before I do that, I'm gonna open up the hood. Okay, I open up the hood. You can see the fluid level. It's above minimum, okay? I take this off because in the process of putting on the new pads, I'm going to depress the calipers, which will push fluid back up into this reservoir. I don't want it to get bound up in any way. I want it to take out all the way down and let the air out if there is any. Okay, this nut happens to be a 13 millimeter. And so is the one on the bottom. Okay, I had to use a deep socket in order to get to where I could use the wrench once I broke it free. Okay, then we do the bottom one. Okay, loosen them both out all the way. Okay, when you have both bolts out, then grab your caliper. I'm gonna use both hands. Okay, notice I did not take this line off. That's your brake line. So pull it up towards the front. Lay it down over here for a minute. Okay, now you have the pads. Pull them off. You can see a very little bit I had left. Okay. I was going to do these a month ago, but just couldn't find the time to do it. Okay, this one's actually cracking. Yeah, if I'd have waited any longer, I would have had to have the rotors pulled and turned. At this point, I'm not going to have to. So let's open up our box and find out what we have. Okay, everything comes packaged. Okay, the clips, your pads. Okay, open them up and identify each side so you have the correct ones. Okay, look at these pads. And a lot of meat on them. Now you see that little piece of metal? You only have 2 of them that have that metal on them. Then the other 2 don't. Okay, now identify which one it was that you took off. This one was the back one. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we put this on the back, and that will be the front, or the inside one and the outside one is a better way to put it, because it's all going on the rear brake. Okay, all right, now that we know which ones are going to go where, we pull off our little metal tabs. Okay. Put your new metal tabs on. What these do is when your brakes get low, that pad or that metal is going to touch the other metal and cause that whining noise or screeching noise, so you can identify that you need to change your brakes. I had not gotten to that point yet that it was making the noise, but I'll tell you what, I was sure close. All right, let me get these on. One tool I forgot to tell you, you need a C-clamp, okay? And that C-clamp is going to be used to push that caliper back down, okay? Because you're not going to get this on with the new pads on, so you got to push that caliper down, and I'll show you with the C-clamp how that's done before you put your pads on. Okay, now you can see I have the C-clamp on the back, and then the center, it goes right inside the center of the caliper, and then you keep turning this till that comes all the way to that end. See how that caliper is depressing now? Just take your time. It's pushing the fluid up back into that reservoir that I showed you underneath the hood, the fill section. It goes nice and easy, just keep going. Okay, now that's all the way depressed. Let's see how it moved that fluid back in. Okay, now remove the C-clamp, put it back underneath there, and then you're gonna set your pads on the disc. Okay, now I put the caliper, laid it on that arm so that I have room to work. Let me show you on this side what I'm doing on the other side. Okay, putting the grab the wrong one. Okay, get this little tab down inside that groove. Okay, get that far enough in behind there, and then you've got bring a little persuader. Okay, now they're both on there. Okay, now we've got to put the caliper back on. Okay, I wiggle it around till you get it all the way in, then line up your bolts, and I like to tighten them up by hand. And then get a wrench and tighten them up the rest of the way. Okay, you see that little nut there? Even when I was taking this off, I had to hold this one with my fingers to get that to come off. But now that I'm tightening it, you need to put a wrench on it. I believe it's a 20 or 21. Somehow I'm missing that out of my set. So I just used that one. And then I already tightened up the bottom one. And now we're gonna tighten up the top one. Whoop. Okay, let's get it all the way tightened. Okay, that feels good. Okay, now once you get the tire on, then put these on, just get them started. Okay, now go ahead and start them slowly. Okay, going crosswise, trying to get your tires set. Okay, now you also want to take your star and you want to tighten them as tight as you can, because this electric one is just not enough impact to make it to take a chance. Okay, so be smart, use your star, crank it down the rest of the way. That's what I'm going to do now to show you how much it actually turns. Well, that one didn't turn much. That first one turned a lot. Okay, get your cap. Okay, well, that's one side. All right, duplicate the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you when I'm done and how the reservoir is more full of fluid. All right, I'm gonna get going. Okay, now I have brakes done on both sides, and now the fluid's almost all the way up to the max. So we're in good shape. We don't even have to add any fluid. Now I put this back on. Close the hood. Okay, now I go inside. You don't just drive off. Go ahead and start the vehicle. Leave it in park. Push your pedal to the floor all the way. Let it come back up. Push it again. Okay, pedal's nice and hard. Now it's safe to drive. Okay, building with Papa. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Give me a thumbs up. All right, share it with your friends. It helps the channel. See you on the next one.